Live. All right. Hey, everybody out there on Instagram and YouTube. We are live. It is the first time for Girl Talk. This is Girl Talk where four women get together and we discuss the pertinent topics that is going on in our life or the things that we think is pertinent or important, the things that's on our mind. We're going to have some real life conversations. It may not be anything about gossip, but it may. You never know where we might go on this show. So make sure that you listen in and join in. We definitely welcome all of your comments. You add to the conversation. Add to the conversation because if you're not adding to the conversation, somebody on this show might let you know that you picked the wrong one. Anyway, let's go ahead and meet the ladies. First of all, my co-host and my longtime friend. I don't know. She knew me since I had little kids, and all my kids grown now. Matter of fact, I knew her since she had little kids, and all her kids grown too. Hey, co-host Paige.
Hey X, what's going on? How you doing?
I am, girl. I'm a little stressed over here because I don't usually do this on my computer for one. And you see, I have to go get my picture that I painted and just kind of try and hide everything. And see, you sitting over there looking all cute. I should be sitting right next to you. But she wouldn't let me come over to her house.
That's because
Anyway.
I'm having my bathroom redone, so it's stuff everywhere. So I found a little corner over here that I could make look like it was good.
I
So
could have sat on your lap, girl. Quit playing. Anyway, tell the people who you are.
hey everybody, I am Paige. I'm co-host Paige, as X likes to say, of Girl Talk and Girl Talk Plus One. I am a mother of two adult young men, and I am a business owner, and I am excited about where we're taking this podcast to a new level. So, yep, that's me. That's me.
All right. Sister V. Now, Sister V came to me through Wanda B from Intellectual Radio. So I was
Oh,
going to have Wanda on here. She said, I got to go, but I'm going to put you in good hands. So, Sister V, tell us about yourself.
Hello, ladies. So good to be with you guys on tonight. I go by the name Sister V, but my name is Vanessa. My community call me Sister V. I am a trained mentor from welfare agencies to be an advocate for families and to keep children safe. I am the host of Fireside Channel, intellectualradio.com, that airs on Sundays at 4 p.m. I am a mother of two bio children, and I have more bio children than I do bio children. So I call myself a lioness queen. I branded myself as such because I'm all about my cubs and my kings.
Oh, your Cubs and your Kings. Okay.
okay. Okay.
And now we had somebody famous on the show.
She's
Just
having,
Becca.
I
Just
think
Becca, come on, did she leave us? I guess she said she didn't want to be famous.
she was having a hard time. She couldn't hear none of us. She couldn't hear us as we were talking.
I wonder why she can't hear us.
I don't know. She couldn't hear. Yeah,
Okay.
she said, "Are you talking? I can't hear anything." So I was trying
That's
to
interesting. So
let you
I'm
know.
letting her.
I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
letting you
okay.
back in. All right, just Becca. I said we got somebody famous on the show, and then you hung up on us. You trying, you trying to be, all that and stuff, acting funny. No, I'm just kidding. Let them know who you are, just Becca. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Can you still hear us or no?
Okay, now I can hear you again.
Okay. What you trying to put your earplugs in or something?
Can you hear us now, Becca? Because you went away.
All right. Well, we are going to get started because we can't have the first half of the show just being, can you hear me now? Because we've been through that with cell phones. We will let Becca introduce herself and chime in when she get her audio together over there. And we going to go ahead on and start this conversation. So, oh, well, she was going to be number one. But co-host Paige, since she can't hear us or talk to us, it seems like your topic is going to have to go first.
Um, yeah, I always have two, And now I'm totally thrown off because Becca didn't go first. Becca, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
You like, help me, help me.
I know,
I
because you
can hear
always
you.
have. Oh, okay. You want to introduce yourself, Becca?
Sure.
Okay.
My name is Just Becca. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm an artivist. So I'm a singer and I am an activist or advocate, however, in the community.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So, Becca, you can hear me now, right? Okay. All right. Co-host Paige, we're gonna go ahead on with your topic.
Okay. So one of my topics is going to, well, my topic I will choose now. I sort of like to go with the flow. Hello?
Sure. Go.
Oh, it like went away. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Um, one of my topic is going to be about mental health, um, and in the Black community, or just in yeah, in the Black community, because what I'm seeing and hearing and even coming across is that um, mental health is at a high and disturbing rate now. And I come across folks who are, some people believe in possibly getting help and therapy, but we still have a stigma in our community where people are like, I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy. And I'm seeing the need, even if it's just to talk to somebody and talk to someone who's a neutral. um, I'm just really seeing the need exponentially. Like, folks are really hurting, they're really dealing with some things, and there is trauma. There's childhood trauma, there is family trauma, there is relationship trauma, and and I guess my question is, where do you, have you guys ran into it? Have you guys ever gotten help? What is your thoughts on that? Because I know, especially if we come from a background of a very strong religious background, it was looked down upon, where it was just pray, and God will take it away. And so I just wanted to open it up and see what you guys thought.
Okay. Becca, can you hear us? Can you comment now? Okay. All right, Sister V, go ahead and take it away. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that. First of all, I'm so glad that your eyes are open and you see that there's a cry for help within the African American community, especially for mental health services. And I like that you touched on the fact that those of us that come from a strong religious background, that mental health is looked at like a weakness and that you can overcome it with spirituality and you must not be praying hard enough and this and that and the third. I do have friends now, and I myself too have experienced some mental health issues, some anxiety, some depression, and I couldn't pray it away. I couldn't pray it away. It was coming from a place because of that tone that was set in the culture of the church. I didn't feel safe enough to be vulnerable to tell somebody I needed help.
Mm, mm.
So that made me isolate and try to, instead of draw me near to my community and my village, it made me isolate trying to figure things out on my own. Because if I expose this weakness to people, they're going to look at me some type of way and think I'm weak and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing, they're going to judge me for having, those struggles. So I took to therapy anyway because I realized that I wasn't well. I had just lost my sister. I was going through a court battle and I had some disconnections that was taking place in my life. And it was a cry for help on the inside of me. And because I love my babies, I took that time for me. And that's something also that I had talked about recently on a show that I did, because as women, we spread ourselves so thin. We
Definitely.
spread stuff so thin that there's hardly anything left for us. And at that point, I was at burnout. I needed help. So I was just glad that those resources were available for me and I was able to benefit from them.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because I think so often one of the things is, as women, especially as mothers, we ourselves so thin. And then coming from having an older parent now, you turn into the caregiver. And so you really, really find yourself spreading yourself thin, because you want to give back to what they gave you.
Yeah.
And you don't want them, you feel, sometimes you feel like can't nobody take care of them like you either, and so you find yourself like giving, and all of a sudden you feel totally depleted, like, and you don't know where to turn. And one of the big things that I see and I have seen is, as you mentioned, going inward. So many people go inward because and almost turn into like an introvert, whereas they could have at one point been, the life of the party. They could have been like very social, but because whatever is going on and dealing with it and not understanding it, they turn inward and they become very introverted. And something is going on, but they're not willing to say or share that something is really going on. So it's hard to be able to help, especially as adults. Like, it's hard, even whether it's with our kids or anybody, it's really hard to, because society says once you're an adult, can't nobody tell you what to do or push you this way, that way. And so you're at a conundrum, like where you're just struggling, trying to figure out, what can I do? How can I help them? Because they're not the same person. Something is going on, but they won't share it with you.
True. Very
So
true.
thank you for sharing.
Becca, you got anything to say over there about mental health? What is your thoughts? Okay. So for me, I think the mental health issue breaks down into two different categories. And one are those who suffer from, chronic depression. What's that called? Miss Fensky was
Bipolar.
bipolar, and all that kind of stuff. People who have some real mental issues. So those need to be treated by a real specialist, which may need, I don't know why people decide to wait till they know I'm live and start texting me.
So
And if you own this call and you texted me, you gonna have to just say something to me. Put it in the chat. Anyway, so yeah, I think that and then you have those people who just struggle to deal with reality. They may go into a depression because of a breakup. I mean, we've all been through that, and while that can be helped if you have a coach or a therapist, whatever the case might be, that's not a long-term mental health issue. So I don't think it's just one flat thing. And so I'm getting this message that Becca can't hear or see us. And so there's three of us that's doing fine. So I'm not sure that that's on my part, because I've done everything for her the same as I did for everybody else. So there's probably not anything I could do about that. I don't think it's on my side. But yeah, I think it breaks down into two things. Now, when we start to deal with people who have problems dealing with reality, or not just dealing with reality, but dealing with some of the things on their journey, because I think we're all here on our journey. So, and it's about learning. We learn, we grow, we get stronger. That's supposed to be how it goes. But oftentimes we get stuck because we keep doing the same thing over again. And we keep doing the same thing over again and expecting something different to happen. And so they say that is a sign of insanity, which I agree. Like if I keep bumping my head into the wall and I get a big hickey, I can't expect to not get that hickey if I keep bumping my head into the wall, because it's proven that that's what's going to happen. So I think we have those people, and we may, consider that mental health issues. I don't know that I necessarily consider that a mental health issue. Like someone who is suicidal, to me, has a mental health issue. The bipolarism, some forms of OCD, extreme OCD can be a mental health issue. But I think nowadays, mental health issue has become the thing.
Yeah.
It's like everybody got a mental health issue, because you got a whooping when you was a kid. And I get that. That could have been traumatizing, and you carry that trauma with you, but you have to learn where that came from, because our parents got whoopings, and our parents got whoopings, and probably our parents got beat by the slave master. So that whole mentality was just passed down. They did what they knew. That's what they knew. And not that it wasn't traumatic, and not that people are not abused. There are kids that are definitely abused, and again, that's an issue that the parents had. And then they carried that on, that abuse, that victim, that survivor, they still carry that trauma on, into their lives. So they definitely need, a therapist, a coach, or something to help them deal with, their thoughts and behaviors. Because usually you don't really think to get help until your behaviors start showing up and your behaviors are not benefiting you. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe I do need to get some help because, life is not going right. That's what usually prompts people to go. But I definitely think there's two different sides for mental health. One is just, that is what you living with. And then the other is a temporary thing that you can grow through, that doesn't have to just hold you back.
But even still, I still think, as you said, I'm in agreement with that there are two, right? But I also believe that, um, again, we as a community don't always seek help, and that's, sort of part of my question is, seeking help, not seeking help, and why, and the stigma behind it, and things like that. Because even some uh, of the, as you say, the temporary mental health can be brought on by substance abuse,
Mhm.
which a lot of people don't understand. There is even you know, what is it? Document statistics and documentation, and some what's that, with the medical society has been doing some trials and understanding that a lot of it is even brought on by the excessive smoking of weed, where it especially in young men, especially, it triggers a psychosis. And they're finding that a lot of the younger people who are excessively, I mean, really doing it, is triggering, because young boys from, what is it, 18 to 22, that, or 25, in that, when they excessively, that is where, if they're going to have psychosis, bipolar, schizophrenia, all those different medical terms, it is
Mhm.
during that time where it is going to show up most likely. And they are now saying that there's a trigger where, when people are excessively smoking weed, it triggers something a little faster. They could may It could be happening, or it may never happen, but that is bringing it on faster. And so, again, I'm in agreement with you that there are two, and some is temporary, that if they go talk to somebody, they can talk it out. They just need, could be anxiety, as people say, all those different things. But then there's the ones that go further, and they may need the medicine, may need the intensive treatment and all those different things. So those are some of the things that I'm talking about, especially in our community where we don't seek help, because many times we don't feel and don't trust the doctors, and it's not a lot of black psychiatrists around that. And I think just like with women giving birth, Western medicine, the white doctors, they had that whole thing about black women have different pain levels. And so when in birth, we were losing babies because they didn't necessarily think that they thought we were complaining about pain that we really didn't feel. Like they didn't really honor our pain and what's going on. Our pain level is supposed to be so much higher than theirs. Or they thought that we were just trying to get out of work and all this other stuff. So that's my view on it.
Becca, you can hear me? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yay! We got you! All right. So we're talking about mental health. And that was Paige's question. What's your thoughts on it?
Okay, so what about mental health?
Paige, can you repeat your question for Becca?
Not really, because it was off the top of the head. So I didn't write it down. But basically, Becca, I was just saying, why do we have such a stigma in our community about getting help for mental health? And why is it, in our community, it's such a negative in the sense that, we're told pray it away, or, and we don't seek help when we may really need help with dealing with the ills of mental health. And X was explaining that there are two type of levels. There's the the schizophrenia, bipolar, and then there's the one where you just it may be temporary, where temporarily you feel
You might be depressed because you had a breakup or something,
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Okay, so I just had this conversation not too long ago. Two issues that we had about mental health and like finding a therapist. One issue was, okay, okay, so we're used to therapists being a white person or a person like a Indian person, or like another nationality. So going in their office and being able to relate with them, or having them to relate with us, is a fear that I know a lot of people have. Listening to different point of views, and even myself, I'm like, how can they help me? They're not going to be able to relate to where I've been. They don't know my upbringing. They don't share the same cultural views as me and my family and the people that I'm around. And then there's another, I guess there's another fear of, this person knows me too well. So if I go in there, I want the straight up no chaser. This is what the issue is, and another perspective. Meanwhile, I'm not getting that perspective because you came from the bottom like me. You got it out the mud like I did. Like, people look at you like they look at me. So if they think I'm crazy, they think you crazy too. So we in the same pot. And then there's the lack of understanding as to the components of a human. So you don't just pray, you pray away things that are spiritual, but you can't pray away the soul. You stuck with that soul. That's yours. So the soul needs therapy. The soul don't need praying away. It's a different dimension of the human makeup. Some things that we think are mental health issues are just simply character issues. It's something that you just learned it that way and you don't have a different perspective on it. So it's kind of touchy when it comes to mental health because a lot of times we try to like, because things trend now. Things are trending. We don't we try to diagnose everybody and we see every issue as the same issue. So one person may say, okay, this is schizophrenia because clinically X, Y, and Z. But then on another in the soulish realm, but then on another level, they being chased by demons. But nobody can see that high spiritually to diagnose you spiritually unless you can see spiritually. So you can only be diagnosed on the level that the doctor understands. So mental health is your direct connection with God anyway. So that's where the language begins to change and the understanding begins to change.
You took it on a whole different level. When you started talking about being chased by demons, I started looking around up here to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, wait, let me go get the oil. But yeah.
Right. And I remember all of that. Okay. All right, we got some folks listening. Okay, we getting down. Yeah, so Becca, you took it in a whole different direction. Anybody got any comments on where Becca went with the demons? Man, because you know what they say, sometimes you can see them out the corner of your eye. You see like that little shadow run past, and they
And
say,
sometimes you could see him right there standing in your face.
and you can see them right standing in your face, girl. Yes, you can. They be talking to you like they human.
Yeah,
Trying to say.
that is so true. As she unpacked that with the different levels, when are we able to discern? Okay, I'm dealing with a mental health issue, but now this have switched over to spiritual warfare. Am I aware I need somebody who is spiritually equipped to handle this part of it? Because in childhood, you somebody be like, "Oh my God, he hallucinating." This like, "Oh, you see demons and all them great crazy." Just get away from it. In all actuality, they just need a person with another kind of specialty. You know, so it's like, okay, I could be on medication and I could be going to therapy, but I'm having spiritual encounters. Sometimes it's like that because somewhere we have opened up a door, playing around with stuff, and not aware that we opened the door. We tap over into weed boards and we tap over into being out there with our friends, getting into all kind of stuff, and without knowledge of what we're opening up, the portals we're opening up into our lives for things to come in, and we're not aware, and we're not spiritually equipped to handle that. So yes, it will run you nuts.
Well,
But
that definitely takes us to another level when we start to talk about, the spiritual warfare and spirits and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that just it just depends what you believe and
Right.
all of that kind of
all
stuff.
that they can open
Because
up a
our
whole other thing.
spirits definitely live on. Your spirit is energy, and energy never dies; it just transforms.
Okay.
So some people believe that that energy transforms into another living something.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that you come back as a human, but then some people believe that you could come back as many different things. We don't know. You could be a fly. Flies only live 3 days or something like that, and so then that energy goes on to something else. So but the whole thought of, so there is good and evil for sure.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
whether you believe that the spirit is demonic, to some degree, I sometimes think that one of the ways of controlling the masses back in Bible days was guilt and fear.
Mhm.
So you didn't want to disappoint God, that whole guilt and then you feared him
Mhm.
because he was going to wreak havoc on you. So when we start to talk about the spiritual realm as far as mental health, that could get touchy based on kind of what you actually believe. But if you believe that you are seeing the demons, the demon might need to get some help too. The demon
Might
might
be
need to get some help.
Well, who was that mentioned medication? Somebody mentioned medication. I don't know which one of the ladies
I
mentioned
think I
medication.
said something about medication, because with, if you schizophrenic, if you bipolar, if you suffer from chronic depression,
Mhm.
all of that kind of stuff, they're going to put you on some meds. And those meds probably have more side effects than the what you dealing with got, but still, they're going to put you on some meds. So, because that's Western medicine for you.
Right. Because
What
some
was
of
your thoughts on the meds?
Well, I was just thinking about that because I know so many people like in my life, in my circle of life, that needs to be educated. And it back to what we were saying earlier, because being in the field where I'm at with kids and different, diagnoses and different mental health issues, um, for me, what I learned was because I was growing up, you said like, oh, but my child on no medication. No, they don't do that. But I have been around this community for so long and that community dealing with so many different behaviors that I have seen firsthand. Like I've seen the meds actually work when the person is properly diagnosed, one, and two, the person is willing to do like we do with everything else, with high blood pressure, with diabetes, with whatever. We find that perfect med that works, or the one that works the best, and we stick to that one and say, okay, this is working for me. When it comes to our mental health and when it comes to chemical imbalance in our brain that needs to be balanced, I'm not sure why it's so shunned upon. Like, oh no, I could never do that. But then I'm looking at certain individuals in my life that are suffering, and it's having an impact on their everyday living. It's like they're not living a quality life because of the
Mm-hmm.
issue that they have tried to self-medicate and try to do a lot of different things, but it's not working. And I'm looking at them like decline as far as their quality of life. And it's not an issue of like pushing this on them. I'm just willing to, like, I asked the question, like, are you willing to try just to see if you experience that change that you need to experience? Because now it's been like a 5-10 year journey for you, and you're not seeing nothing different happening with this issue that you have. So it took for me to, I had a son that was in school, and he was having issues, and I was on that like, no, I don't care what they say. They're not gonna call me no me. I ain't giving him no medication. I don't care. I was just so hard down, like, no. And it took for the teacher in a teacher parent conference. She was like whatever. She was literally crying so hard. And I'm like looking at her like, what is you crying for? And she was so filled with compassion, like the kid kept apologizing to her. He kept saying, you can't help it. Like, you don't have to keep telling me you're sorry. I know that you can't help it, but I believe she was crying because she's seen how closed off and closed minded I was from the child possibly receiving help in that way. And needless to say, the outcome was that when the child did start on the meds, his life did a 360 because of the chemical imbalance just needing balance. And we think of meds different when it comes to our brain than we do to have blood pressure, diabetes, or whatever else we take medicine for.
So I've seen it both ways as well. I've seen it where it left someone, because what happens is when they first give it to them, they don't know that dosage that they need, right? And so trying to, they don't get it right the first time. And
Mhm.
so it either has the opposite effect where it leaves them lethargic, all those different things. But I've also seen it change somebody very, very close to me, and I've seen it change their life from when they weren't taking it, when they were prescribed it, and when they weren't taking it, and they would go through the high and they would go through the low of being bipolar, and you didn't know what was going to happen, and to where they are now, how they are they're back to being productive, working, and just like it's the person that I remember growing up with and everything, right? And so I've seen again where uh being in denial and not wanting to give that to them, also in the fact of being in denial where you would rather say somebody was drinking versus it was a mental illness. And and so yeah, I'm in agreement with you that, you know, there is that stigma, um and where, you know, oh, they on drugs and things like that. But I also I had a close friend of mine who had was dealing with sleep deprivation and could not get sleep, and was given a pill. It was I guess it's used for antidepressant or whatever. And literally, I remember her telling me, if what this pill made me feel like, she wasn't a depressed person. So the pill had the opposite effect on her, right? Like
Wow.
she was like, if, and she didn't even take a whole pill, she took a half a pill. She said it had her so depressed that she was like, if this is what life is going to be like, I don't want to be here. And I remember her telling me so vividly, to the point where I literally could understand what depression possibly feels like to people who are like, I can't do this, right? Like I can't, no matter how good life looks or felt, it there's this doom that they cannot shake. And I remember her telling me, and she said when she called the doctor said, stop taking it right away. It can have that effect if you're not depressed. So then you think, why would you give that to me, right? Like, why would you give that to me if that is a possibility, right? And so I always think that there's this balance, like you said, there's this balance of trying it, not trying it, being scared to try it, your experiences where you saw it help people, but you saw the worst of what it did too. So and you know, as Becca mentioned, there are different dimensions of what's going on. Some people are just plain evil, and now we use everything mental illness, but you know, that really is an evilness that they're dealing with, and not just mental illness. It's something else stronger, spiritual, that it has taken over. And I see that and believe that in sometimes the callousness of people now in how they do something and how they hurt something. Just like the young girl who was kidnapped by her friends. She was 20 years old, had a child, kidnapped by people she thought was her friends, and they literally videotaped them raping her, beating her, killing her, kidnapping her, putting her in the trunk. And these were people she thought was her friends, and she was with them all the time. And it was men and women. So it was women, it was young girls and young men. So, you know, is everybody crazy? You know what I'm saying? Or
That's great.
is there something else that they're also dealing with that is a little more than what we really know or see?
You know, you with people that you're around all the time, and something like that happens. It just makes you, and I have trust issues anyway, but you know, hearing things like that just really makes you around people that you know, especially when you're around people that you know but you don't know like that. You kind of getting to know them, and then it'll definitely, any little thing will kind of make you look side-eyed at somebody like, what you think you planning? Yeah, what you think you doing? Maybe I need to go home, because I will take my butt home in a minute. I will leave for sure.
Right.
Absolutely, I'm out of there, because I'm not that trusting anyway. All right, well, that was our first topic, mental health. That was definitely a good topic, and I am here with Miss V and co-host Paige and just Becca. Co-host Paige, what do you think about our first segment? You and your mental health conversations.
Maybe because it was mine, I thought it was great. No, I'm just kidding. I thought we had good feedback from everybody, and everybody came from a different perspective, and only to end up in the same corner, that there is something going on. There are levels to it. It's not one cut. It's not, you know, it's levels to it. And Miss, like Sister V, explained an experience. I explained an experience where we saw the good that happened, and also I had an experience where I didn't see the good. So it's just a matter of perspective. It's a matter of individuality, situational, and also one of the things that um, Becca mentioned is, um, there are not a
She
lot.
mentioned demons.
Yeah,
She
she
mentioned
mentioned demons,
demons.
but she also mentioned that there are about Black therapists, right? Going to a white therapist versus a Black therapist. And I will say that in what I've been doing in the last, almost a year, I've come across a lot of Black therapists, and that are and I love to have that conversation with them. I'm supposed to be talking to them about something else, but I end up on that conversation about mental health and what are they seeing and what are they dealing with, and it's a lot going on, and we really need to understand, um, again, that there are different levels. Um, um, there are different levels. Just like you said, temporary. I had a young lady who lost two children, right? And um, the depression was overwhelming. Like the
I bet
depression,
that was overwhelming.
it was overwhelming, and it was, and so although we put it in there, oh, it's temporary, she couldn't come out of it. You get what I'm saying? Like she was struggling, just even trying to make sense of why me, right? And
Okay.
so
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
so that's
The
it.
30, the 30-minute bell rang.
Shut it.
See, she's the co-host because she loves to talk, and
No,
she will keep on
no.
going.
Normally I'm quiet, but for some
You
reason
ain't never
that
quiet.
then brought
Don't
me out.
believe that.
No,
She gonna tell you she the innocent one, she the quiet
I
one.
am.
She
I'm the
ain't,
quiet one.
she ain't none of
I always
them.
got
She
I,
ain't none of
I
them.
got an opinion on everything. I will say that. I do have an opinion on everything.
So we gonna go on to this next topic. And I am here again with Sister V, co-host Paige, and Just Becca. And Just Becca, you with us? Okay, what's your topic today, lady? I want to hear what you got to say. I want to turn this light off too. No,
Okay,
don't.
so I know
Just to
I
myself.
had to have a topic.
You gotta have a topic.
Y'all
Everybody
want
have a
my
topic.
topic?
Yes, we want your topic. Oh, now I'm really dark.
Can my topic be last?
Nope, you a
You
B.
was actually supposed to be number one. I
You
had it
ain't
Okay.
supposed to
12.
be first.
You was actually supposed to be number one because we went in alphabetical order, which we don't always do that. But yeah,
We
so
don't. So I was just trying to. I think next time I'm gonna do it a different way. But go ahead, Becca.
Okay. Let's talk about boys.
Yay! What kind of boys we talking about?
See, that's the question right there. The question is, how do you know your type? How do you figure out your type? Like, what do you fit with?
How do you figure out your type? That is a
Yes.
good question,
Like,
Becca.
what is the process that you go through to figure out your type?
Let's hit up Miss Page first and see what she think.
oh, the talkative one. Oh, you want
Yep,
to
go
hit
ahead,
me
talkative
first?
one.
The talkative one.
We ain't gonna make you wait much longer.
Um, I will say for me, I have figured out, because it changes, but I have figured out for the most part, my type is, it really is about how it has a lot to do with how they treat me. Like through and through, like how they treat me. Like um I've dated the 6'9", I've dated the little shorter one, I've dated the not so good looking one, I've dated the fine one. What's the ex? He good looking, he fine. Ex love to say that, but
When
but
they fine, they fine.
right. But it all in all, when it comes down to who I tend to click with, it's about a lot of it has to do with how I like to be treated. And I've dated wealthy. I've dated ones that I'm like, are you broke? No. But and I will say again, it really comes down to chivalry. I'm a sucker for chivalry. I love chivalry. Um, I love to be spoiled, but I will spoil. You know, I will give. I will spoil. But there are things that um, uh, I'm. If a man is a gentleman, you know, he is, you know, he wants to take care of you, even if that's not what you're looking for necessarily. He wants that, right? And so um, I've been pretty lucky in that I have had some scoundrels,
Oh
but
Lord,
I've had but I've
not the
had
scoundrel.
the scoundrels, right? Like I'm like, Lord, how did I end up with this? But but for the most part, my type is a lot based on, because I may not be like, oh, I just, you know, physically, I'm such a saposexual that a lot of it is mental for me as well. So how they stimulate my mind and how they treat me is a big deal on my type.
Hmm. Okay. I seem like I'm the only one sipping tonight. Y'all gotta be sipping on something. You gotta get your sip on. So Sister V, what you think? What was the question again? How do you know which one is good for you? Which one
So
is
how do
right
you
for you?
know your type, right?
How do you know your
Boys,
type?
we're
Yeah.
talking about boys. How do you know what your type is, right, Becca? Is that what you said?
Yes, and what
How
is
do
the
you,
process? Like, what's the process to figure out what your type is?
yeah, what's the process you figure out that you use to figure out your type?
Hmm. Well, process was learning myself through the different relationships and the different guys that I was attracted in my life, and the experiences I had helped me to know what I didn't want. And then the more I spent that time learning who I was and accepting who I was, the more I study me, the more I know what I need. Because he can be, like she just said, everything to the physical. Because I've had that too. I married a joker. He was all in the chips physically. I had everything I wanted and nothing that I needed.
Mm.
And because I nothing that I needed, then I was always a void, like unfulfilled in the relationship, because I was giving him everything he needed, but I was not being replenished. It wasn't being reciprocated because I had got to a level of my maturity and my womanhood to even know what it was. So the physical was my guide. He tall, he muscular, got everything in the right place. We gonna make it work. You feel me? But at the end of the day, we weren't making it work because I'm like, I got to the point where I'm like, I need a man outside this bed. Like, I need you to show up as a man outside this bed. And he didn't seem to know how to do that. But, of course, once everything was said, done, and I got on a journey on my own to do the work that I needed to do to recalibrate myself, heal, and do all that, I discovered that it really was about me knowing who I was. So then I know what type of applications to take. Okay. So that part right there, because I've been through it, y'all. I've been through it with the download man, y'all, the download deacon.
Oh
Oh,
Lord, the
Lord.
download deacon. Oh no, not the download
Oh,
deacon.
girl, the download deacon. This girl talk,
Oh
right? This girl
no.
talk.
It's girl
Oh,
talk.
okay.
Yes,
Go
it
ahead.
is.
Go ahead, talk.
Girl. Woo!
Oh my
Wait,
God.
first of all, before I go there, am I like am I okay
You
to talk
okay?
about?
Yeah.
Okay. Girl, the download deacon had me fooled. Okay. I thought, oh my God, he is so sweet and manly. Like he was so masculine. And when I saw him step up to my baby daddy, like this my woman. Oh, Lord. Baby, you could have bought me for a penny. Okay. I was just like, oh yeah, this is my man. This is my man right here. girl, about a year and a half went by, a year and a half. I'm just like, oh, I start getting suspicious because I'm like, wait, hold on.
Why'd you start getting suspicious? What was
I
causing the
started getting
suspicion?
suspicious because I had been with men before, and there was things about him that wasn't present as a man. Like, he knew how to show up like he did, act aggressive or whatever like that. But you know how men give, they like, girl, they get in there like, girl, what you on? It's like, I felt like something was missing from the moments because I knew what it was like to be with a heterosexual man, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
with him, I would even say to him, it's parts of you not here with me. Because y'all know how we are as women. When we really in tune with our men, we just know, right? You ain't got to tell me, I just know. I was just like, it's a part of you not here with me. I don't know what, something that it's like something, a part of him belonged to somebody else, but it wasn't a woman, y'all. I hired investigative services.
Dang.
Girl, I was determined because you know how you just want to know. You like, I'm gonna find out, or I'm gonna find out.
Wow.
And so it took a mutual friend's son that knew him in the church world. That was another thing. He never wanted me to come to this church, and I don't know. I was like, why? He was like, I'm gonna let you know when to come. I'm what?
A year later,
Your
right?
boyfriend not there?
A year later, I hear a mutual friend's son say, I ain't never seen Tim with a woman before.
Oh.
And I'm like, wait, hold on. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm like, So
Yeah.
I had to one day. It was just a moment, and I was there with him, and I was like, "Why we just can't move forward? Like, what is going on?" And this man, but because I like both. I said,
He
"What?"
said it to you.
Yes, he said, "I like because I like both. I like men and women."
And he did it like that with the head move and everything.
Now I'm saying that because
Oh, I was like,
I'm going back here.
Wow.
Whoa. So wait,
oh.
he like, I like men and women. And I just wanted to throw up. I was like, what? You waited a year and a half to tell me that?
That's
You know
wild.
where I could be?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That whole betrayal thing. He
I,
should have told you because there's a woman that would accept that. And that's the thing for me is that people lie so much, but then our society almost forces people to lie. Because if he had came into the church and said he wanted to be a deacon and also said, by the way, I'm bisexual, he would have never been a deacon. So it's just like with marriage, a lot of the times our society holds marriage at this place where, especially for men, if a man is not married, if he's in corporate America, he's looked at differently than a man that is married. Married men are looked at as being more stable, more responsible, all that stuff, when that's not necessarily the truth. And some of those married men are more single than some of the single men, but it's just our society, societal conditioning. So the question is, how do you figure out your type? Okay, so I think figuring out your type takes a while. Now, there are some people that get lucky in their 20s and college and stuff, and they, meet a person and they get married and they can last forever. I know people that have been married 30, 40, 50 years or whatever. I do know people have been married 50 years. They're older than me because they would have had to be married at birth for me to really. But anyway, I think it takes a while for the rest of us to actually find our type. And I believe the older you get, the clearer you are on what your type is, but the more scarce your type is also. Because especially for women, as men age, a lot of them don't take care of themselves. And, right around 45, that erectile dysfunction sets in. And then now there's some women, menopause do them dirty too. But then there's some of us, that love when menopause hit because it don't do us dirty and we no longer have a menstrual cycle. So that's just like, hey, anytime, whatever. But I think it takes a while. But I think some of the important things to think about is the compatibility of your lifestyle and the things that you have in common. Your goals, compatible goals. You guys got to kind of have to want the same type of relationship. If you meet somebody that is clingy and you don't want nobody clingy, that's never going to work. If you meet somebody that want to stay home and scratch their balls and you want to go out to the networking events, that's not going to work. You need to find somebody that kind of want to live the same kind of life. They say the opposites attract, but I don't find that to be true. Maybe for some people it does, opposite in the fact that he's a man and I'm a woman. Absolutely. But other than that, I think that there has to be some real similarities. And I don't care what nobody say. Because even when you watch these freaking shows where they do, what is that, Married at First Sight and Love is Blind and all that stuff, where they match people based on stuff other than attraction, right? And some of these people get together and some of these people's character and personalities is just screwed up. And so they don't work, But some of the time they get together and they're good people, but they're not attracted to them physically, and you can't have sex with them. And if you're not attracted to somebody enough where you can have sex with them, that makes them a friend. And friends are good, unless you are married at first sight and you want to be married. If your goal is to be married, you're not looking for just a friend. So attraction is, I want that dude that I can look at and be like, woo, wait till we get somewhere. We ain't got to get home. Let's just get somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. But then again, I'm at a point, I've been married, I've been in relationships and all that kind of stuff. So I'm at a point in my life where those titles are not like all that important to me anymore. What's important? I would like companionship. I want somebody to travel with. I want somebody, to do up when I want to do up. I want those kind of things. But as far as somebody that that's expecting me to cook or, and I love to cook, but I just don't want the expectations I don't want no expectations. I don't want nobody asking me a whole lot of questions. Where have I been? I've been where I was. That's it. I don't want all the questions, and, the jealousy is a thing because of, the things I've done throughout my life, which has pretty much been events and all that other kind of stuff. I've always been out in the public. I'm always out in the public. And of course you meet people and stuff, and, people are like, where you been? What you doing? Did somebody try and talk to you? Did you touch him? Da, 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 da. Don't ask me no questions. Stop it. Just stop it. So I think that it takes time to figure out what your type is, but even more so than your type, you need to love yourself.
Yes.
You need to create a life that you enjoy living, whether anybody else is with you or not. So right now, I'm just floating through life. I enjoy my life. So whether there's a man around or not, I'm not really sweating it, even though I am sweating with this light, but I'm not really sweating it. If he's the right one, I will wait for the right one versus just anyone.
Yeah.
So a type, he can be your type in certain ways and not be your type in other ways. Paige is talking about how I like to say something about fine or whatever. And I met this guy years and years ago. This is years and years ago. And he was from Detroit. And he showed up. We met online. He came to Milwaukee. And I was like, oh my God, is he fine? The curly hair. He wasn't light skin, but he was light skinned with the hazel eyes and all that stuff. And I was like, oh my good Lord. He's like 6'2", kind of thick, because I like him kind of thick. I was just like, he is so fine. I think Paige might still have that voicemail because she always teased me about it.
I kept it for a long time until I got a new phone.
And so he was absolutely my type in some ways, but then he was a straight consumer. So I'm not one of those people that just spend money on stuff that just really loses its value, that has no value. I'm more of an investor. So versus spending money on, I don't know, just designer clothes and all that kind of stuff, I'd rather put that to the side and get some crypto or some stock or get a house or, something that is of more value, something that's going to make money for me. Not that I'm not going to buy clothes. It just don't have to have somebody else's name on it. Maybe one day there'll be some clothes that'll have my name on it. And then, then that'll be all good. I can get clothes that have somebody's name on it because it's mine. But how you find your type really is just trial and error. It's just trial and error. As you get older, you learn what you like and what you don't like. And then you just kind of, you flow in that lane of what you like and what you don't like. And at different points in your life, you will be at different points. There's different things you're going to want in your life. Like I just said, at this point in my life, I'm not stressed about getting married. I'm not stressed about being in a relationship. The companionship is cool. You know, when we not together, what you do is what you do, and what I do is what I do. And hopefully you don't ask me too many questions. Now, I'm not against the relationship either. If it really we just really clicked like that and it flowed that way, then I would consider it. You know, I would have to tell him that he couldn't ask no questions though. Anyway, because I don't want to answer no questions unless you paying my bills. I had somebody, I dated this dude one time and he used to always call, he would call, and if I was clicked over from the other line, he like, who you talking to? I'm like, nigga, are you paying my phone bill? I'm talking to who I want to talk to. I just don't be understanding sometimes. I just ain't never been that girl. I just don't, yeah, that's not me. So Becca, how you think you figure out who your type is?
I definitely agree with all of that. Definitely the trial and error and becoming who you envision yourself being. And then also like finding somebody that looks like what you want to look like. That's kind of like where I am right now. I'm like, let me find somebody that looks like what I want to look like.
You when you see him, you gonna see him. He just gonna show up one day. Girl, you gonna be somewhere and you gonna look up and he gonna be sitting in the chair looking dead at you. And you gonna be like, ooh, who is that?
And I'm always the picker. So I want somebody, I'm just gonna like chill and mind my business. And like you said, he'll come along and he gonna pick me.
He will pick you.
Because I'm always like, I want this one.
But you know, sometimes that's good, but sometimes it depends on the dude, especially if he fine for real, because they used to getting chosen. You got to really not. You can smile at them, but you definitely can't be too forward with them because they already used to women coming on to them like that. So if you look at them and you done caught the eye and then they don't make some kind of move first, I would let them go because they're gonna be a headache. They just
he ain't even have to be fine. He just gotta serve a purpose.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel
like,
you.
I like
that.
I like I am right there with you, girl. I am right there with you because what you here for? No, for real. Like, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you when you're right.
Yeah. So, I think that nowadays finding a man that's your type in this pool of, so I talk to people all the time about relationships because that's what I'm pretty much known to talk about. But I think where we have evolved to, and I'm gonna call it evolving, simply because I feel that women are definitely in a different and better position than they were, 50 or 75 or 100 years ago. Yeah. No longer are we in that position where women need a husband that's going to pay the bills in order to survive. Because back in the day, even women who worked, they didn't make a wage that allowed them to live or survive. They was making a little bit of nothing, but men were making a little bit more, right? Where they could take care of the bills and women could take care of the house and the kids. So a lot of women, I believe, stayed in a lot of marriages and situations because of survival reasons, just basic survival, because they couldn't afford to be out there on their own and pay rent and buy clothes, and they got kids and all of that kind of stuff. And I think women have evolved to a place where they don't need that to survive anymore. So now you're looking for something else in a man besides that. Because honestly, now that we're making money, the money is the easy part. If all I got to do is go get the money and buy some stuff, that's the easy part. But see, now I got that part covered. So now I need somebody. Can you talk to me? Can you teach me something? Can you be attentive? Like she was talking about the sapiosexual. Can you stimulate me? Can we build something together? Can we grow? Do you have a business mind? Are you supportive? Are you, if I say, let's go get this house, can you fix it? Now we want something more from men than just their money. Well, some of us want more from men than just their money. And even, when it comes to sex, when you get in a certain age group, even if you only want the dude for sex, some of them can't do that.
My God.
That ED is real. Viagra, Cialis, and I think they got something else, them little gas station pills and stuff. That is a multi-billion-dollar business. Multi-billion-dollar business.
Wow.
So that ain't just a few people that's having issues. Multi-billion-dollar is not just a few people having issues. It's a lot of the mugs out there having some issues. So, I think as we've evolved, that I think that a lot of men don't necessarily know what women want from them anymore. Because half of us are saying we don't need them at all, which is not true for the majority of us. We may not need them financially. We may not need the bull crap that come along with some of them, but we definitely want them for companionship and, stuff like that. I want, I have a lot of guy friends and I like talking to guys, get a different viewpoint. Some not as emotional, even though that's not always the truth, because men are definitely emotional. Yeah. They can definitely be emotional. But I think that as we've evolved, that whole finding somebody that's your type, I think it actually becomes harder. I think it becomes harder. So I don't know. Anybody else got anything to say on that? I think I ran off with that.
A little bit.
Okay.
Also, on top, you made a statement about us not needing them, like we needed them to survive, and that's why a lot of the times the women stayed. But I remember back in the day, like we used to be in love. Like it wasn't even about survival. Like we used to be like, I love this man, this my man.
Who is we?
Black women.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember back in the day. Back in the day, our grandparents, our granddaddy had a whole nother family around the corner too. So while we was all in love, it was still some bullshit. So
and that's how I know that we as women, it wasn't even so much about them taking care of us. They was in love. Because what? Somebody that slept around and you had a whole nother family and you raising these kids in your house and now y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like the next generation. I'm just saying we just had a deeper love because we were going through way more at that time where it was like security too.
I think it was security first. I don't think it was a deeper love.
Financial security, but it was love too.
I don't know about that.
I think some of it was I do think love played a part in it, but I also think financial security. I also think humiliation and embarrassment, and also being divorced or being a divorced woman back then was a negative stereotype. It had a negative stigma to it. So women would stay in a situation long and never leave because you didn't want to be that person in your family that was divorced. You didn't want to be in that person in your family that didn't have a man. You didn't want to, because back then families did a lot of stuff together. You did a lot of things with your cousins, your uncles, your aunt, and your cousins, and it was family, it was community. So the aunt that didn't have a man, she stood out like a sore thumb in a way, and was looked at like the aunt without a man. And so I do think that there was love, but I also think that there were a lot of societal things that kept the family more together. Or like the woman wasn't just walking out, she wasn't just leaving. If anything, the man would leave before the woman did. And so when you look back, especially if you look back on when you first was in love with somebody, and back in the day when all the songs was about love, and I mean, you there was this different there was a different energy that I don't really see or feel that way, or that you see nowadays. You see total ownership now. If somebody's with somebody, they almost that's like I was watching something and somebody said, "That's my old lady." I guess in the South, right? Was it in the South where they was like, if a man say that's his old lady, like for me, I ain't never really heard nobody just say that's my old lady, but I'm sure they probably may have said, but I just didn't hear it. But if they were like, if a man said that's my old lady, you knew she was important to him. No matter what he was doing, she was important to him. That's his old lady. But if he just was like, oh, that's my woman, or that's old girl. But if he said that's my old lady, from what I heard, that was like a big deal. That meant like 10 times as much as if somebody just said that's my girl or something like that. I mean, I just happened to hear that in my head. But yeah, so I do think that there was love, but I also think, again, societal kept a lot of people, or kept a lot of relationships going, you know, and people were willing to, a lot of women were groomed that men were allowed to do certain things, and I didn't realize until about a couple months ago that in the Asian culture, women, the women will allow their men to sleep with prostitutes, but if they sleep with another woman and she not a prostitute, that's a problem. Because they're like, oh, because they think with the prostitute, he has no emotional tie. He has no emotional feelings.
Mhm.
She's just a prostitute. But if it's another woman, then she would have a problem. I
Mm.
never knew that until watching a
I had that
documentary.
conversation with somebody just the other day. It wasn't about the Asians though, but someone asked me the question, if I was in a relationship and my guy cheated on me, would I leave or would I stay? And I said, okay, am I married? Like, am I married? Or are we just together? And he said, well, you could be married or engaged or just in a long-term relationship. And so my thoughts on that, because my dad told me that sex is not love and love is not sex, and you're gonna desire sex whether there's anybody there with you or not. So many of us lay in bed at night and ain't nobody there, but your body sure will be like, man, let's do some stuff. Yeah, and so for me, I can forgive the just he had sex with somebody. Not that I would want to do that, but I'm just saying if it came down to it, I could forgive if he just had sex with somebody. But if he had an affair where there was emotional connection, then that's a wrap. And then I think the person said, what if they had a kid? So if they had a kid, that's just totally out of the question. I don't even need to speak to you no more. I see you at the divorce place. We can sign these papers because you got a whole kid. Ain't nothing for us to talk about. We done. That's it. It's over. We through for real. No. But anyway, our bell went off. This was a great topic, Becca. Thanks for bringing that to the table. And so we just got done talking about how do you know or find somebody that is your type? How do you know what your type is? And I think we concluded that we learned that over time. Is that what we concluded?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I am here with the ladies tonight. This is Girl Talk, and these are the girls that are talking. We got Sister V and co-host Paige, and we got Just Becca. Just Becca sings, so she on tour right now. Where you gonna be next, Just Becca?
So I'm gonna be in New York next. I just came from Austin, Texas, and
Okay.
it was a time had. It
It was a time had.
was
Okay,
a time had.
that's what life is about, creating memories.
So next month I'll be in New York.
Be in New York. All right. Well, once
Where,
this
where you
video
where you
gets
where you performing in New York?
I have a couple stages,
Oh, okay.
so I'm just tightening up, solidifying everything, and then
okay,
I'll
well,
put a
if we get
get
any
the word out.
We get any questions on or comments on this video once it starts getting shared and stuff? Because
Mhm.
this will wind up on Spotify. So for those of you who are not big video watchers, make sure you go to Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox on Spotify and you can catch the audio of this show. But that will be divided into 30-minute segments. So you can get just the segment that you want. All right, so we're gonna keep it going on. And Sister V, you are next. What is your topic?
Well, ladies, my topic that I want to discuss tonight is a woman's worth.
Mm.
The reason what led me to is it's just came over a period of time, me looking at like right within my community to the online community to everywhere. I find that women have diminished their worth down to a BBL, a long weave, lashes, nails, the physics, cosmetics, beauty. But inside, I find that women, based on the way they carry themselves, based on some of the choices we make, is around stemming from a place of not knowing our self worth. Because we don't know our self worth, we show up have together and not just in our appearance, but we show up and we're there, but we're not present within ourselves because we have not discovered who we are on the inside. So it just has been a topic on Fireside Chat, and I talk to my young ladies all the time that you have to understand that even if you do all those things, even if I do all the cosmetics, that is not going to make me worth who I am. I am who I am, but naked with none of
Mm-hmm.
and so I just think that it's a very important topic and it's worth revisiting now and then because we go through different things in life, rejection and, you know, being looked over, and in the workplace, everywhere, then we listen to our men online boldly tell us on us. You know what I mean? Like that right there, I'm looking at some women go overtime with the surgeries, going overtime, going hard, in the gym, which is nothing wrong with that. Please be healthy. But it's coming from a place of trying to discover work. I'm trying to worth something. It has not been tapped in. The person having into their worth within. And so that is what I'm bringing to the table tonight, ladies. I just want to know, do I got some ladies on this live tonight that know their worth?
We here. We are here.
Yes.
Woman's worth.
Hmm.
So um I might be the one out by myself because I feel like it's not just because there's some women that, like you were saying about with the BBLs, and I don't have anything against people who have, whatever makes them happy. If that's what
Right.
they want to do, more
Mhm.
power to them. But
Mhm.
I feel like there are so many people, men and women, who just do not really work on their character anymore and the person that they are. They don't grow. They're stuck in this trivial, um, negligent, irresponsible, immature behavior, even though they're grown. And I don't see the worth. Now, everybody has worth, some worth. Your
Yeah.
mama love you for sure.
Mhm.
Well, most times, sometimes maybe not. But I don't. When you say a woman's worth, I just believe that each human being brings a different value to the table,
Mhm.
based on who they've um, created them, what their mindset is, who they are, based on who they want to be, what they've worked toward. I just don't know if I necessarily believe in a woman's work.
Well, I'll say that because it's girl talk.
Right, right.
And
It is girl talk.
when I thought of girl talk, I thought girl stuff. Like, and then for me, we are influential. Women, we are the flavor. We do. We every the woman to me in her home, when you walk in the house, you see that woman. When you walk anywhere. It's like we just have a mark that we make in our society, in our world, in our home community that just brings a different type of flavor altogether. Outside of just being nurturers and life givers, I'm a life giver, you know, and yes, every individual should know their worth. But I'm looking at the women that has arose in the standard of a woman is limited to the cosmetic and the aesthetics of things. And so we had good, strong women that have gone before us that did not have access, could never afford none of that. But they womanhood still standing up today in our heritage. We still can look back on those women and see the strength that they had and the things they endured and what they passed on down to us as to what womanhood we. So yes, a lot of us are underdeveloped, under arrested development.
Yep.
Especially about me and me being a advocate and stay in the circle of kings that would sit there and cry to me about their father wounds, about their mother wounds, and the baby mama won't let my son, and all this stuff. It's like listening to them vulnerable. I get a lot of tomatoes because sometimes I take up on 'em. I'll be like, he right, But at the same time, I realize how important they are to our community. But we show up strong. We do. We can make some stuff happen. Women get together, we make some stuff show enough happen. So I'm saying to our women, have we limited our words to what social media say it is? Do we know it without all? Took it away tomorrow. Do you know who you are? Do you know your worth when you walk in a room? Do you know your worth regardless of whoever else in there? I know who I am. I'm self-assured without all of this. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking about.
All right, co-host Paige, go ahead and put your
There you
dollar
go.
and
Oh,
50 cents in.
oh yes.
I'm the shy one. So I was thinking as you were speaking, and the first thing that came to mind is that um, I think social media has raised a lot of our young women. I think that um, if you didn't have a sense of self, and if you were, and I'm not going to say everybody's a follower because they like this or that, right? If a person want a BBL, if a person, listen, I want to lose some of this, right? But I'm not going to go to Mexico. I ain't going to go nowhere else and get it removed. I'm going to have to make a commitment like Jess Becca been doing and go to the gym.
Oh,
Um,
she is committed too.
she is, yeah, she's committed. And so she actually gives me, like, I need to do it, right? But I think that um, the self-worth that women have has been based off influencers, right? um, the rappers, the female rappers, or who getting money and who ain't, right? The 304s as they call them. And I think that if you are the person that says anything different, you are the prude, you're the outsider, you're the person, oh, fogey, yada, yada, yada. But we grew up in an era, I grew up in an era where, first of all, you didn't go out the house looking a mess, right? And till my feet messed up on me, I go out the house without heels. But you carried yourself in every, even if you went to the gym, there was a certain aura or air that you had about yourself. And so
Yes.
I remember when X first moved to Chicago, and men there would say all the time, y'all not from here. They would say that all the time. That was like a given, y'all not from here, because not that women from Chicago ain't some of the baddest women, right? But we had a different aura about ourselves, and that we carried ourselves differently as well. And we weren't considered the gold diggers. And I think we probably attracted more men with money because we weren't like considered the gold, the gold diggers. But I also say it goes back to how you carry yourself and what you think of yourself, and not being influenced by, I mean, you have women our age going to get BBLs quicker than some of the young women. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And trying to, and then you start wondering, who are the women really doing it for? Are they now doing it really for the men, or are they really doing it for the women? Are they
They
doing
say
it?
that they're doing it for the women now. That's what people be saying.
Because really,
Mm.
like, a lot of men will say, okay, that look good, but that ain't what I want. I want me, you know what I'm saying? So you start wondering, like, who are they really? And then when you see a lot of stuff on social media, I mean, sometimes I have to take a break from social media because I'd be like, when did accountability become like null and void? When did people stop taking accountability for their actions? Like, you did do this, you did do that, that is stupid. Like, and then you have people in the comments who egg them on to keep doing stupid stuff. So for me, like, social media can be good and bad. It can sometimes be the devil, because and I think so
Demons running around.
right, as Becca said, it's some spiritual warfare going on that social media stuff. But but right, but I just see it so often where women, they don't they don't respect themselves. And then if somebody calls them out on the not having respect, they're the bad ones. Like, it's so twisted to me, where I'm like, when did common decency and common respect, when did that literally just leave? And especially in the Black family, like, in the Black family, that's something, like, you weren't gonna disrespect the name of the family, your family name. You want to go, it just so many things that now it's like open season. It's like, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about my family. I don't give a damn about my family name. It's all about what I want, what I think. The OnlyFans club, the just the BBL club, the 304 club, anything ratchet. That's where you get your most you get the kudos from being ratchet, versus having a certain amount of, like, respect about yourself and how you carry yourself. And and yeah, you ain't gotta just be just a prude or anything like that, but I don't know, it's just I mean, I even my boys, I have boys. I be saying to myself, please don't let them bring none of that home. You know what I'm saying? Like, please, seriously, like, I'm serious.
I
I'm
hear
like,
you. Yeah.
like, please be discerning about the woman that you pick, because some of them, I'm like,
Girl,
okay.
you know that they are not gonna bring just any chick home to you, because they already know that your mouth, anything might slip out. You be thinking you whispering under your breath, and you be loud as heck. Like, I don't know what he brought her here for. Whew, did you hear me say
I will
that?
always be kind. I will always be kind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's too funny. Becca.
Okay, so I'm devil's advocate because I'm all with it. So listen, two different things: self-esteem, self-worth. Self-esteem comes from the external factors that people look like. Is how do I feel? Like, how is my esteem about myself? Self-worth is the question. If you had to ask a question about self-worth, the question is, am I worthy? Am I worthy of what? Love. Has nothing to do with a BBL. Has nothing to do with lashes and hair extensions. Has everything to do with your acceptance of other people loving you, which
Mm-hmm.
comes from your acceptance of God loving you,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you were raised in an environment or a church where God is always handing down the hammer and saying, "Oh, you in trouble for this and you in trouble for that." You're not in trouble for this and that if you believed in his son and he said his son took everything that you could be in trouble for anyway. So you serving a God on a God level, you receive love from God.
Mm-hmm.
Allow God to love you. Allow yourself to love you. So
Mm-hmm.
being in the gym extensively, if you love yourself, you discipline yourself. I think somebody that doesn't have self-worth is somebody who does not take care of themselves. And that's
Mm-hmm.
more apparent than somebody who goes to get a BBL. I mean, it's the same. For me, it weighs the same. If you overweight, you don't have discipline. So are you really accepting love from yourself? It takes a lot of discipline to be in shape, to have a nice figure, to have the muscles, to have the snatch waist. That takes discipline. What is your discipline level? That
Mm-hmm.
shows how much you find yourself worthy of loving yourself, your level of discipline. And then there's the level of other people, being able to accept love from other people. Some
Mm-hmm.
people can't accept love from other people. I have problems accepting love from people sometimes because it's like, is it real? Is it fake? Is it genuine? If they love me today, are they going to still love me tomorrow? Do you really genuinely love me? Are there conditions on this love? So self-worth is more of a question of, am I worthy of love? Yes, I'm worthy of love. And the
So
reason
maybe
I'm
the
worthy of
question
love is
is
because I
rephrased.
exist, not
Maybe the
because of anything that I can produce, not because of how I look, not because of where I come from, how I talk. I'm worthy of love because I simply exist.
okay, and that's true. So maybe it needs to be rephrased as: Are women finding their self worth in the aesthetic, and it's not all that you just said, because it's not a competition of. Because I'm for it too. I love it.
We could
I
never,
love
you
the women.
never know. You never gonna know if their self-worth came from, if my ability to be loved by you came from me feeling good about myself because I got these fake boobs. Okay, so now I have fake boobs, now I can accept love from you. You will never know because that's internal.
Right. That's what
You
I
would
was saying.
never know.
At the rate we seeing it, um, it just gives that there's an absence of self worth and self love when the drive is, if I don't have this, then I'm not worth nothing.
I don't
And
know
then
because
and it's very evident because of what the other woman said, character. When you depend on that and that alone to say, this is me, that's really not you. That's really not you. So we're getting a superficial version of people more often than not. And because, like she said, that nobody has to ever admit that. But it's pretty evident in the way that we are seeing ourselves, when we carry ourselves and all that. But she says it's all of that. So it's not like either or. It's like, is it now taking the place of self? Is the aesthetics taking the place, is
I
what
don't
I
think
was just observing. I'm just
I think
observing that. I'm not
it
saying it
boosts
is.
self-esteem. I think it'll boost self-esteem if
Mhm,
you feel unhappy about something on your body and you have the money to fix it. My
mhm.
God, go fix it. You fix your hair, you fix your teeth. If you want to fix your booty, fix your booty. Whatever it is that you need to fix in your body to have enough esteem to walk in a room and be able to move that room to accomplish whatever your purpose is and your mission in life. Why would you live unhappy with yourself when you could go fix yourself?
So
I
why is
don't
my
think that that's a
that?
self-esteem, but being
Yeah,
worthy of love, like your self-worth, you can't. I
yeah.
don't think that could be wrapped up in any type of material thing. Your
Right.
self-worth is something that's
Exactly.
strictly internal. It says that I am worthy of love.
Exactly.
And if that, whether you have BBL or no BBL, that has nothing to do with if I'm gonna accept your love.
Did
Am
I
I
miss
So
worthy of
the
love?
Did I miss the question? Is that what you said about being self-worthy? Was it worthy of love, or I thought it was just about women feeling worthy?
What
Like,
about whether they got that? Like
Right, but
Pardon?
where
it
you
wasn't
what?
saying that they do or they don't. It's just saying that as a self-example, like from what we observe, are women using the ecstatic to replace that self-worth and that self-love, and it's not within without all that because once upon a time it didn't exist. So what I'm saying is we saw that raw from our foremothers. We saw that woman show up and be present without all of that. And I was just saying, do women know that their worth, what their worth is without that? Do you know that you worth all of that without that? Don't let that be the only thing you worth. I'm worth something now because I got well, I was
And
worth
so,
something. I got done now working.
Listen, my
No,
mama
you know what I
them used
mean?
to get perms, and they
Hmm?
was my mama them used to get perms. They ain't had BBLs, but they sure had them perms. So I can't say that either because was they self worth wrapped up in their soul glow or they perm? You know what
they
I
so,
mean? And then
so
you
you
know
know
when
what?
it comes to the
But
BBL,
I
there's
think
a
the perms
scientific
were a
fact that
societal
men.
thing as well as to fit into what society was saying at that time with white people, right? Like if
Mm.
if you were going to work in even like gimbals, right? Back in the day, they had like gimbals. The one that had pressed her hair or got that little perm, she was more closer to aesthetically them. And so we, you know, that I mean, people have for years been trying to fit in, right? And gain self-worth from whomever you trying to get self-worth from or be approved of, right? And so the perms were an approval of um if I'm gonna be around the white people and they got straight hair, they don't want to see my hair. You know what I'm saying? And even up until just recent, until we had the law where we had to actually have a law put in place so we could wear our natural hair. So I don't necessarily look at that the same way with the BBLs, I guess. And I'm not saying it can't be. I'm just saying I don't see that aesthetically the same way. And again, it can be looked that way, but I think BBLs are a personal thing. Whereas when people were doing their hair, pressing it and stuff, it was more of a different acceptance by a whole different culture. It
And
wasn't
so
Mm.
even
also you got to look at the BBLs. So your self worth. We all know that any surgery is life threatening. Even
Yeah.
if it's the intent is to help you in the end, going into surgery, you could come out with an infection. You can come out with anything. We all know that there are people who have died getting BBLs and breast lifts and mommy makeovers and all. We know that this has happened. So is your butt being big worth risking your life? What is your self-worth? Because I tell you what, I'm gonna walk around with this booty forever because I am not risking my life because my self-worth says I'm great regardless.
Just like I
I don't need
am.
no big booty to be great. Now I can use some little more booty. I dated a plastic surgeon. He always
Oh,
told me, he said, your hips are perfect, but you need a little more protrusion to balance out your hips. And I'm like, oh well, we're not doing that. So, you know, because I don't feel like that's gonna make me any better of a person. I'm still gonna be Xavier no matter what size my butt is.
No, you
So
ain't.
if
You
your
gonna
period.
be
worth is in
Xavier
your
with the
butt,
big booty.
you said
Xavier
you're gonna
don't need
be
no big
Xavier with the
booty.
big booty.
You gonna be Xavier with a Honda.
Girl, I am so many Xaviers with the mouth, Xavier,
Listen,
all kind of stuff that
it's a
might come along.
scientific fact that men are attracted to, and they keep saying, "Oh, we don't want the BBL, we don't want the BBL." Okay, but when I'm going out, y'all be all over the BBL. I ain't trying to hear none of that. Y'all don't be chasing after muffin top like that. No,
They're
I'm
not
not saying
marrying
it
them
like
though.
that. But I'm saying if the options is there, they gonna go with the BBL option.
And listen, I
Listen,
ain't never had no big butt, and
there's a
I ain't never had
70
no problem.
30 rule where
It's a
where
what?
men 70-30 where they look at women for fertility and it is in the subconscious. It's not even something that they just going out like, "Ooh, let me see if this girl is fertile." No,
That's the
it's a
width of the
70
hips, though.
30, huh?
That's the
The
width of the hips,
the hips to waist.
right?
So
The
when
hips
they
to
going,
waist.
so look at what time we in. It's like two women, three women to one man, right? So you got all of this going for yourself, your self-worth, your self-esteem, you got your money right, woo, up the bank. So what's next? The body.
Well, you go to
It
the
ain't
gym.
go to the gym, but you could go to the gym and might not never have that same effect. I'm not against it. I'm not getting no surgery myself because I'm just afraid of surgery. But you face the same thing when you get in the car every day. Car accidents happen every day. We live with
Car
keyboard.
accidents do happen
So
every day.
however you just live your life, your
I'm
work,
not
your
against it
love.
either. I mean,
It ain't
because I
got
live
No,
nothing to
by.
do
and this
with
is
if you get
this
the
is the
body back.
thing. I don't think she was saying anything against it. I think what she probably was saying is why put so much value on that versus that aesthetically. If I want to wear weave, wig, hair extensions, braids, whatever, but I'm still gonna be Paige, right? Like I'm still gonna be Paige. I'm still gonna be thinking I'm whatever I think, right? For the most part, with or without it. I know I I got hair out the wazoo, right? But what up? But it doesn't make. How do I want to say? It doesn't make me feel like I'm the shit. I don't know. I've always had a little booty, but a booty. So I guess I ain't never really thought about adding to it, and that if I added to it, it made me better. I don't know. I
Man, if you got that perfect swimsuit body, you feel some kind of way. I don't care if you added
No,
it
no,
on,
I'm not. I'm not. I'm
didn't
not
add it
saying.
on.
I'm not saying you don't feel good. Because when I was in shape, I felt good. Like
You feel
so, I
good
know
about
the. I
yourself.
I know the difference. Like I
Yeah.
was. I felt a certain way. So when I'm out of shape, I feel a certain way. So I totally get that part of it, but it's still not gonna make me not feel good about myself. I just know I need to do more work. I just know I need
Right.
to really, put some stuff in order and in place to get back into the gym and do back
Yep.
and take care of me, right? So I know that part, but I still feel good about me in the
Because you
midst
got to
of.
value your life. There is no way and this is what part of what I was saying earlier about women need to create the life they want to live, whether there's
Yeah.
anybody in it or not, because
Mhm.
there's no way that I would risk my life to get a bigger booty to impress the one man, the two other. When they can go ahead and maybe while they're going to get their BBL, that they'll eliminate themselves from the process. I'm just being facetious or whatever. But I'm just saying, there's no way that I would risk my life. I got the grandkids. I'm watching my daughters, well, they're grown, but watching them, move on into different phases of their lives and stuff. It's no way that there is any man's approval. None of that means more to me than my life and my health. It wasn't that Usher's mama that died on the table or something like that. And then K Michelle had stuff going wrong and she had to get her booty taken off. I went to see her the other week and I was just like, she really did get her booty taken off because there wasn't no booty there. No, I think they took the booty that she bought and some of her booty too, because she probably had more booty than that. But it is just no way on earth I could see putting myself like, oh yeah, give me this big butt so that I can attract a man. Because I just don't think that
I don't even
is
think they do it to
worth.
it. You think they still do it to attract a man? I think people just
Well,
like
but
personally for personal reasons just really like
you just
what
said that when you go out, you see the men going after the
well
BBLs.
yeah, they definitely
Yeah,
do
if a
scientifically.
person does it because that's just what they want to do, that's fine.
Right.
But if you're getting all your self-worth from that I
Yes.
Right.
think is what Sister V is saying. Like, is
Yeah.
all your self-worth from that? Because if I want to, if I want to, I wouldn't mind having something shaved off the hips, right? But
I like my
again,
hips.
all myself. No, I got some extra baggage around my waist, but I I just felt it. But I'm not going to still not feel good about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm still not gonna not feel good about myself. To me, it's like a relationship. A person that comes into my life that I'm in a relationship with, they add to my life. They don't make my life. They
Right.
add to my life. They
Right.
they add a different sense of stability to my life. They don't. I'm with or without them. I'm going to still be okay, but I'm better when they add to it. You get what I'm saying? So that's just sort of how I see. Like, if I were to get a BBL, it's adding to it. It ain't like, it ain't making it. You know, it ain't making my life. And I that's what I thought Sister V was talking about. Like,
It is.
now your self-worth is so caught up on the how you, the
The
physical,
addition.
the physical, because we all know, and baby girl, I'm older than you, so we all know. I can show you some pictures back in the day and you'd be like, you was bad, Paige. You know what I'm saying? But I know that beauty fades, right? And so if that's all you're holding on to, then that's sort, like, for me, that would be a sad thing. I know I'm a good person. I know I'm a loving person, a great daughter, a great sister, a great friend, a great mother. I know all those things without having a BBL. And I thought and I think that that's what Sister V was speaking of, is like your worth without that. Like, what is that? Does getting a BBL determine your worth, or do you have worth and that's just an added asset if that's what you choose?
Oh, dang. We got off on that one. That was the 30
Because
minutes.
that could be trying to start stuff. No, joking. I'm kidding.
Hey, I just seen it from the perspective they just add to themselves. I know a lot of ladies that's adding to themselves right
No,
now, and I'm like, oh,
I've
power
known
to you,
people.
my sister.
I've known people who've added too as well, but and but if you add and you have nothing else, to me, like, some people have added to it and their whole personality has become stank. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, like,
Right.
you're just like, man, when you know what I'm saying? It's almost like I've seen it. Okay. Like, and I'm like, okay, when you didn't have a booty, you was so nice. Now you got the booty and added something extra.
They
They
got
put
the
something
booty and
extra.
lost the beauty.
Yeah. They not a nice person. They looking at other people, talking about other people. And I'm like, but before you had that, that's how you was looking. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's how when she said it, immediately I went to that aspect of it versus more power to you, because it is more power to you. If you got the money, all that other stuff, if you got it, do what you do with your money. I know people who use their money and then their kids ain't even got no food. So
Dang.
everybody does
Oh,
what they
man,
feel they
Paige.
need to do. But if you're doing
Oh,
it
that's deep.
chasing something else, it should be an asset added to it, not it is it.
And if you're solidified in your self worth and you want to have it all, then you should be able to just go have it all.
More
Exactly.
power to you.
Absolutely.
That's when you should be able to do it.
Absolutely.
But when you're solidified in your worth and who you are, yeah.
It don't be as important. Okay, but we're gonna go ahead and get on to this last question of mine. Again, you are watching Girl Talk, and we have 4 women here. We all have presented topics. We just got done talking about okay, we went way off. What was your question? A woman's worth. That's right. A woman's worth, man, because we went all over on that. We just got there talking about a woman's worth. And I am here with Sister V, co-host Paige, and Just Becca, who will be in New York next month singing. Y'all need to check her out. Make sure you visit her page. Just Becca. I don't know if she even got a page, but I said it anyway.
Just
MK
Becca.
JUSTBECCA_MKE.
All right, Just Becca MKE. All right, so my question.
Yes.
So I really was torn on what question I was going to ask, because I'd be writing down questions throughout life, because I come across different things. But I thought that I might actually just throw something out there, that I'm just kind of going through right now, right? So let's say you meet this guy, right? And y'all go on a date, and you date him, and it's whatever. And then he kind of like a mama's boy, and then his adult kids live with him, and he treating his adult kids like they 12 and stuff, and so that all kind of turn you off, and you don't like him no more or whatever. But in the meantime, y'all had hung out and realized that y'all knew some of the same people, right? So then about a month after you had met the first one, you had met another one, right? And he was just fine, right? And so, y'all went on a date, and the first date didn't go so well. But then you went to that other mutual friend's house, and he was there. And you was like, what the hell is this? So you have these two guys that you didn't know that even knew each other when you met them both, and you dated them both for a brief moment till you stopped liking the one. But now you are still kind of dating the other one. And so, things are kind of progressing with the other one, but that one, even though he might know, but you don't know if he knows that you was actually dating one of his friends first. Do you tell him before he tell you, or do you just let it flow? I mean, you wasn't in a relationship with either one of them, but now you just, kind of, I don't even know what the word is to use, but you kind of hanging out with the one. Do you tell him that you dated the friend before, or do you just let the chips fall where they may?
Go ahead, Becca.
You think they don't know?
I don't know if they know.
They talk more than women.
I know they do. So I'm thinking that they might know, but I don't know that they know. So since I don't know that they know, right? Should I say something about it? Because if they do know, so it would be like if I knew. So okay, back in the day, and I don't think we dated the same person at the same time, but me and Paige dated the same person.
No, I
right?
didn't date him. I didn't date him.
You went on a date with him?
Yeah, I went on a date with him.
Okay.
I didn't date him like you dated him.
No, you didn't date him like I dated him. But I didn't date the other dude like I dated.
You knew him.
Right. And so I didn't know that they knew each other either until I went to the other person's house, and the one that I still see was there. And I was shocked, like, what the hell is he doing here? And I was still seeing the other one then. So I called the other one while I was there to see where he was, to make sure he wasn't coming to the house because there was a little party going on. So I wanted to make sure he wasn't about to come there, but he was with his kids, which his grown kids, he was with his kids. So that's what he always do. And so, and from that point on, it was kind of, a very slow boil or whatever. But so should I tell? Should I say something, or should I just let it see what happens? Is he going to say, well, what if he do know and I don't say nothing? Go ahead.
So there are different levels of dating. There are different levels of dating. I went out with you a couple times. I went out with you, we dating, we hooked up, we been intimate, and then there is, we just went, we sort of like each other, but it really didn't go anywhere. Like, it just sort of fizzled out. But nothing really came of it other than I, at the time, thought I liked you and thought you liked me. So depending on if you're hooked up with, you're hooked up with all of them. No, it depended.
No, I didn't hook up. So the first one we didn't hook up. So we went, well, I can't even say we went on dates because, my life right now. So I was going places that I was going to go anyway, because I was either doing a site visit to find, a new location for one of the events. I was just living my life and said, hey, do you want to come with me? And the first time we went, he paid for everything because he was late and then whatever. So I guess that was a date. But then there was one time we went somewhere and, the place where we go, it has all the different food vendors and we wound up in different lines. So I feel like we just kind of went to the same place together. But the first one, there was no second level of dating. The whole mama's boy thing and the grown kids at home that you treating like they 12, that was like a turn off to me. So that never went anywhere. Now he felt differently. Um, Definitely he felt differently. So I had to really just not do any say call. I said Happy New Year, and that turned into a whole thing that I didn't even expect. But then the other one is progressing to a different level. And so I just want to know, should I tell him? Sister V?
Okay. So they don't know that you date both of them or have dated both of them.
You know what? See, the thing is, I think they might know. Like Becca said, men talk even more.
Yeah.
And so they all have been, and I told the mutual friend. I told the mutual friend, I said, hey, I'm dating two of your friends.
Mm.
And I said, but the first one, I told him, I said, I'm really not feeling him because, he got all of that stuff going on. And the second one, I said, I don't know if I'm feeling him because he got all that stuff going on. At the time, I wasn't anywhere really with either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But now this one has consistently been kind of just slowly boiling.
The one that's not playing around with the kids. I mean,
Yeah, the one that don't, his kids grown and live other places. Yeah. So I'm just wondering if I need to tell the one that is on the slow boil that I was dating a friend.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell him anything unless he asked me. But I wouldn't.
And see, under normal circumstances, if they didn't know each other, this wouldn't even be a question because I definitely wouldn't. It'd be like, no. But because they're friends and the conversation may have, I almost feel like I should own up to it before it becomes a thing. Paige.
I would not say anything unless he asked. And then I will be honest. But I wouldn't volunteer them. That's just me.
Paige.
Are you asking me, or you? I thought you were.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You didn't give me no. I need a yes or no. What should I do?
I would probably say because it really was because I know that it wasn't really nothing with the first one. I mean, they're a nice person, but I probably in another time I probably would have said, yeah, just go sit. But in this instant, I'd probably be like, no, I know your friends, but I probably wouldn't say anything only because it really wasn't a dating. Like he may have, just because he likes you doesn't mean that you dated. You know what I'm saying? But if you think it was a date, then maybe you could say something. If you think you actually was dating that person, then maybe you should say something. But if you don't really think it was like significant, I mean, if I ain't kissed the other one, if I wasn't sexing the other one, if we really didn't really go on real dates with the other one, I I when he asked me, I'd be like, oh yeah, we did. We hung out a few times. It wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, any other time I'd be like, yeah, just say something before it gets all back, and you know how men are and blah blah blah. But uh because it wasn't, and also what is their level of friendship? Are they like really really good friends, or are they just know people in the same circle?
It seems like they are people in the same circle.
But are they do they seem to be
but
really?
if you are at those late night parties and stuff, you never know what the conversation is going to be after some drinks and things. And I just don't know. I'm so torn on it. Becca, what you say?
I say it sounds like you ain't trying to be serious with either one of them, and ain't either one of them your man. So if they don't ask, then you don't tell. And if they do ask, then you tell them, oh, you're friends? Okay. Cause you
I
ain't
didn't know.
never
I didn't know you were that.
anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know you were that. Yeah, I didn't know you were that. You guys were that good of friends. I mean, I did
Oh.
hang out with them and stuff, but like if I don't know you're really, really good friends, but you just know somebody, I don't owe you nothing,
I don't
Right.
right?
owe you
Like
nothing.
I don't owe
Right.
you nothing. But if y'all really good friends, then I may say something like, oh, you know what? We hung out a couple times, he went with me on some runs or something like that. But if y'all ain't really good friends, I ain't trying to make y'all be better friends than you are.
And I know they're not the only one trying to be the only one. So
I
I
like that.
you don't
And
I
the
want
like
other
that
guy,
too.
if he do know something already, he ain't saying nothing.
he ain't said Nathan,
He
did he?
said nothing.
Said
Not a
nothing.
thing.
He ain't said nothing. He ain't pulled back.
So play the game.
None of that. Yeah.
Don't give him no booty. You'll be all right.
Which
Don't
one?
give him none.
Which one should she
Don't give
not
him
get?
booty, you'll be all right.
What the
Don't
first
give him
session?
none.
Look at
What you mean? I can't wait to give him some. What you talking about?
Well, don't to both of them, you'll be all right.
I ain't giving the first one for sure, but that
Oh,
second
okay.
one,
she like
Okay,
he
well,
can get
he
it.
can get it.
that second one,
Oh
There you
my,
go.
he already gone.
that second one is in line. This
It
number
ain't
might
no,
be up
listen, y'all
next.
ain't got no better friend than y'all. Where the rest of them at? Make sure that's it.
Oh yeah, right, right.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's good.
so it's just weird because, and this is just my brain, because my brain will always take me to an extreme. I don't know if that's part of the Leo thing or if it's part of the Virgo thing, because Virgos are overthinkers. And so it could be the Virgo thing, but my brain always will take me to the extreme. And so I just envision going to his house and then everybody is there. And I'm just like, ah,
Okay, if you start to pick up and get more serious with this guy, you can have that conversation with him, but you wait till then. You know what I mean? Like, you don't owe him nothing until that time. You know
It's
when it's that time.
official, right?
And just leave the other one alone. You'll catch the clue.
oh well, no, I left him alone a long time ago. He
Oh
already
well
got the
you
clue.
Oh, what
you
is?
good.
Yeah, it's been months. Like I said, I sent him a Happy New Year's text message, and that's the last time I reached out because that whole conversation turned into a whole different thing. Like he's like, "I miss you." I'm like, "Dude, went, we hung out for like a couple months. How you like miss me? You've not known me way longer than you've known me, so I don't understand." And yeah, so I had to, because I'm not that kind of person to be. I'm not all. What's that word, Paige? I don't empathize oftentimes in
She's
those
not
kind of situations.
empathetic. She's not empathetic. She's
It
not
just I just say what I done
empathetic.
said. I say what I done said, and then I'm done saying it anymore. All right, so I should not tell the person that I dated the friend. I should just keep it. And then what if he say something about it to me first?
Then you say,
Then you tell him.
but then you
Then
just explain. You then at that time say, you know what, it really wasn't a big deal because we only hung out. We hung out a few times. We never really went on technically real dates. And I mean exactly what happened. Y'all really didn't go on tech like you just said. Technically, y'all didn't really go on real dates. He just happened to be going where you are. If somebody invite me out and they don't pay for my food, then that ain't a date. That's a no.
That ain't a date. You right.
Yeah, that's us hanging out. Like we cool
Whoa,
now.
whoa,
Now
whoa, whoa, whoa,
we
whoa,
cool
whoa.
now. Seriously,
Wait
now,
till
if
you
you
let a
invite,
dude pay for the food, they definitely off the list.
that's what I'm saying. You went with me, and you didn't even try to say, "Hey, wait, I got her over here." You didn't even do that. Like so, at that
Nope, we
particular
was in
point,
different lines, and he was. It
and
was,
if
but
they didn't try to like or hey babe, how much was that? Let me give you the money back. Or
I did think he was gonna do that. I thought he was
or
gonna say, "Let me
or
cash
across the
app you back."
room you said, hey, I'm gonna get her too, or something like that. Once you do that for me, once you do that, especially you invited me, we're going together, then I see you as my buddy, like you my boy, like
Cause you ain't even a bro.
you my
Right.
boy, like you my boy, like at this particular point you no longer can date me, and because if I invited you, I'm like, if you end up paying, you end up paying, but if I invite you, I'm okay with picking up your tab, right? That's just me. But if you invite me and you don't even try, you don't even try, you don't even say, hey, how much was that? Let me get, I was trying to pay for your food, but you blah blah blah. If you don't do that, and again, we all are spoiled to different things. So I'm used to somebody saying, hey, I'm gonna get you what, how much was this? Here's the money. Like, I'm used to that. If you don't do it, I know you, we cool. Like, we cool. Like, you my boy, I'm your girl. We just hanging. Like, you ain't trying to date me, because you ain't trying to date me. I already know that. When you invited me out and you didn't pick up the food tab, you're not trying to date me. Because if I
Okay, now I'm
invite
gonna
you
tell
out,
him.
if I
Now
invite
I'm
you
now
out,
now
I'm
I'm gonna tell him. Now tell him.
see,
You want to know why? Now tell him, because it's on your conscience. It's on your conscience, and the other dude wasn't Jack. He didn't mean nothing at all. And you want to have a clear conscience with the new guy because you feel like it's some type of potential, and you kind of like him. So just tell
I
him.
kind of like him. I don't know about potential for what. I just don't want an awkward situation to show up. What? So if I'm having fun, because for me, having fun can be different things. Like I said, I'm not stressed about relationship and marriage and all that kind of stuff. But where we're kind of headed seems like it could be a good fit for us both, right? And
Tell him.
I just feel like the other thing was so insignificant that I would hate for me not saying something about it to be the reason that I might mess up this thing that I'm going to. Because I
okay.
like,
Okay, well then in that case, then if you put it like that, because at one point you were like, well, we not really. If you put it like that, then not to mess up, you could say, I just want to, hey, such and such had invited me out, or he invited me out, but once he invited me out and he didn't, he became my bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? He became my boy. Like, I didn't really look at him as a dating option, because this is how I consider
well,
dating.
I can't say that to him because my first
Oh,
date with
because
him,
yeah,
my
the
first
first
date
date
with
was,
him didn't go right either.
yeah, that's true too.
So
Oh,
That's true too.
my
they don't
first
Hmm.
date
That's
live
what
with him,
together.
is he even in a place to for that? Like, are we there yet? Where I could just have to like protect stuff and tell you things because I don't want this to be messed up. Because honestly, even if you did and you showed up and they both was there, it still may feel awkward. It still may be weird.
and then then there's the other side of me is like, so if it got messed up, then it's not like this is something I'm building a life on. So would that even matter? Because I just don't even know. That's why I'm asking the question to see. I want to see what the consensus was, because I have been in Milwaukee for a minute now, and I don't like a lot of people. Yeah, just don't. Those
Tell him.
are the only two people that I actually liked in the whole. I've been here since 2022, and it's 2024. I only like two people, 2 dates, and I don't usually date Milwaukee men specifically because they kind of suck. And I've said it on Facebook and I'm saying it live. Anyway, so yeah,
When you
whatever it
you didn't
is,
hear from me, I'm not dating Milwaukee men, but you didn't hear from me. You heard
yeah,
that from
she just didn't say it. She ain't dating a Milwaukee man either. But
Wow.
anyway, I just feel like, the little arrangement that is developing, I could be cool with that little arrangement. And I wouldn't want something just that was nothing to mess up my little arrangement that I got developing. But on the other hand, it is just a little arrangement. So if it did get messed up, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I
I
don't know
think
what I'm going to do.
You could just say exactly what you just said. As you know, um, I only been back in Milwaukee since 2022. I haven't really dated a lot of people in Milwaukee since I've been here, because sometimes I can be a little picky. Hosting the different events I go to, I did come across somebody that was pretty cool, and we hung out a couple times. Not really a real date, but we hung out, and I thought they were really cool. But I wasn't feeling them and like that or anything like that. And I think it's somebody or I know it's somebody, and leave it like that. And then when he says who, I'd be like, well, it really didn't go anywhere, because I mean, it really didn't go anywhere. We really didn't do anything. We just hung out maybe 2 months and went on 2 mutual dates where I paid for myself and he paid for himself. Sort of like you did.
But like
But
Becca
then he
was,
won't even get you in that predicament.
like
If
Becca
he
was,
know the truth, he won't let you get in a predicament where it's like uncomfortable like that. If he rocking with you for real.
you know what you said earlier, Becca? It's like me and talk, they talk
Yeah.
like, now from my experience with brothers, nephews, and all these different types, they want to know one, did you
Yeah.
smash? That's all they want to know. That be it. Did you
But
smash?
it wasn't no smashing. Nope, none of that
All they
happened.
want to know. They don't care about nothing
You
else. That's
didn't. That's why I said.
all they want
That's why I said at that particular point, you can say what it was. I mean, we hung out a couple times, like we
to
did, like,
know.
but
That's it.
we didn't really date, and we definitely weren't like intimate.
Now
Okay,
wouldn't
and
it be?
even if you did smash, wait a minute, hold on now. Cause even if you did smash, you just ain't feeling him. And you ain't it ain't like you had an option between both of them at the same time and you picked one of them over the other one. He happened a while ago. You
Well,
know?
I ain't dating nobody ex dated and went out with.
They
Yeah.
men.
I ain't doing that. So
They
that's
men. And if he wanna be like with you on another level, like partnership, he won't let you get in an awkward position like that.
Yeah.
Cause he wouldn't want to be either.
Yeah.
So you know what? It's funny because as we sit here talking, I'm like, so what if they did already have the conversation, right? What if they all was over at the house and the topic came up and maybe the mutual friend might have brought it up because he know, right? And then it could have been that the guy that I'm still dealing with might have just said, "Man, did you smash?" And he said, "Nah." And he said, "Okay, well, that's it."
He
Maybe after that, maybe they had the conversation already,
ain't
and
saying nothing to you if they
and
did.
then he just ain't gonna bring it up. But I
Mm.
still be like, I don't know. Would I want if the guy I was dating had dated Paige, and then we wound up dating? Would I have wanted him to say something? How did I find
well,
out? You told me.
well,
You told
well,
me.
well. You didn't even. Yeah, I told you because anyway, you didn't even care if I had dated your ex. I would never date your ex, Steve. You was like, you
Oh,
date Steve.
girl, I was so over Steve.
Yeah,
I don't even like that.
but
Once it's done, that's a wrap.
but
Yeah.
y'all had a serious relationship. It wasn't like you
We ain't
dated
had
him
no
for a couple
babies.
months.
We ain't get married.
Y'all lived together.
We did.
Y'all moved to
But if
Atlanta.
you were his
Y'all,
forever, I wasn't gonna stand in the middle of y'all
well, I
happiness.
will not be his forever after he was
I just not like that. I
that.
want everybody to
That's
be
me.
happy.
That's me. That's me though.
I'm just weird like that though.
I'm weird like that too, Xavier, but still, don't nobody want nobody you lived with. Not your friend.
Not just listen, Becca. Not just live with. They moved to Atlanta together. They didn't
Oh
Yeah,
just.
we
no.
did.
They
Don't
had a
nobody
serious.
want nobody you was smashing.
They had a serious relationship. It'd be different if she just met him, was with him a couple months or something like that. No, it was like a serious relationship for
We was
real.
together for 4.5 years.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no.
you like that, Becca? You like that?
Oh no.
But if it didn't work with us. So, and that was years ago. We broke up in
I ain't
damn.
dating nobody you date. I ain't dating David. I ain't dating.
We
I can
broke up
name
in
them
like
all. My
1990.
little big bro. I ain't dating nobody that you
Soon as
dated.
he pucker up, all I would see is your face. I'll be like, what?
Listen, exactly. And then you know you already know the whole story and stuff. Like no way,
You're so silly.
Oh
no,
no.
no.
All right. So the consensus is that I should not tell him.
No, it ain't.
It ain't. The
No.
consensus is that I should tell. So y'all just as confused as I am.
No, get
Hi.
it off your dome. If it's on your mind, just tell him.
So if it's on my mind, just tell him.
If it's yeah, just so you don't have to get in an uncomfortable situation. If that's what you're worried about, just take away your worry and just tell him. And then you will know if he really like you like that. If he like you, he not gonna care.
Because we didn't smash.
Cause y'all ain't smash. And even if y'all did smash, you like him, and you don't like him. It didn't work.
Paige, you rocking over there. What you
Because the guys I know, if it's somebody they really, really like, they don't want their boys that they hang in that group. That's just the guys I know, right? They ain't want they boys, but they may not want their boys, but like if it was years and years ago, like okay, give you an example. Mick knows somebody. He's like, that was when I was in college. So he's over that, right? And that's a long time ago. It may or may, if they go for it, they go for it. He's over it. But if it's like recent or whatever, I think that they would. Now they may do it, the guys may do it, but they ain't not somebody they about to rock with hard. They not.
Yeah, I think I met one on a Friday. Um, and then I met the other one 2 weeks later on a Thursday.
Mm. Oh.
I didn't know you met them that close together.
I'm like,
Yep, I did.
The truth will make you free. Tell him the truth and make him make a choice. Make him decide.
Dang.
That's good,
he
Becca.
won. He won.
Maybe I should.
What Becca say?
I'm a player, baby, and don't you forget.
Yeah, so they say you ain't got a lie to play. So I ain't lying. I just am not. I just haven't. But there was no reason to even consider this, before now, because it was just like I said, a slow boil. It was a few texts and conversations, here and there, maybe once a week.
Well, tell him
And then
before you give him some. Definitely.
Tell him before I give him some.
Yeah.
What about if I tell him before I give him some again? I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Sister Vita died over there. She gone. She ain't even scream no more.
Left the building.
You
I'm like,
see,
it's a wrap
you see,
anyhow now.
yeah, you see, I just got quiet. I just said,
At that point.
Well,
Oh God,
It
that
don't
is
even
just.
now you really may as well tell him.
saying.
Oh God, that is
Got
too
the
funny.
goods now.
Baby.
Woo-wee. That was good. All right, y'all. I'll on the next show, I guess I'll update you on what happens. Who knows? I don't even know. What's gonna happen. You said what?
Xavier's Chronicles.
Xavier's, yep, Dating Chronicles. I used to actually do a Dating Chronicles in
you
my
sure did.
private group.
You sure
It was
did.
funny, yeah, because I used to attract quite a few people. Now I just don't like them anymore. The age thing, aging, getting older and being single is, I attract the young boys too, but I don't like young boys. The conversation ain't the same. I don't have nothing in common with them. I just, and I just don't really want to date nobody that is the age of my kids. My youngest is 32. I can't do that.
Oh.
And my oldest is older than 32. So that rules out all of the 30s. And once you hit 45, sometimes they be falling apart. Stuff just don't be right. And they don't look the same, and the hairline be challenged and stuff. And yeah. So anyway, this bell is about to ring again, and we got 32 seconds. I hope that you ladies enjoyed participating on the show tonight. And we do have a few viewers that are hanging in here. I guess they probably cracking up too, probably trying to figure out who I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter. It may not even be a true story. You got any last words for us, Sister V?
Well, I have with you ladies tonight every single topic from mental illness to the boys, to the women's worth, and all that we have shared tonight. I will say you overthinking all of this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Overthinking it. I really do. But however, excited to be among some whole women. You definitely are a whole talking like in the night and having girl talk. So thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm glad that you could make it. And Becca, what's your last words? And don't forget to tell them where you're gonna be.
This was a great conversation. I like different perspectives. You can find me at just Becca underscore MKE, and I will be in New York next month. Check me out.
Okay, y'all check her out, and she can sing. So y'all go make sure you catch her if you in New York. Co-host page, we did it again.
We did it again. We're doing something different every time, aren't we?
Yep, we just moving on up. Now we got this live thing going on. As soon as well, you said you was gonna learn how to run it too.
You said I didn't have to though.
I didn't say that.
I said I can learn. You said you don't have to.
Yeah, you can learn it because I didn't.
Catch him.
I'm sitting over here and this is not. I just want to talk. You know, that's what I like to do. I just like to talk. I just want to talk. So all of this, I got all these stuff over here on this screen. Yeah, that's a lot. So what's your final words?
Thank you guys for being on our first live stream show. I've been on Girls Talk for about a year now with Xavier. I started as a guest and never left. So
Never left.
never left. Never left. Don't let me in your house. No, but thank you guys. I enjoyed it. I loved all the topics, and we working out some kinks, but and Becca finally got on and joined us. Yay. She's my guest.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I love you, Sister V. Thank you for your perspective and introspective that you gave. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for being so open and honest and vulnerable. I appreciate that. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, I'm just going to say thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. And make sure that you catch us every third Saturday as we stream live with Inyatu and Khalid Scott. Men talking about relationships and mental health and all kind of good stuff. So until next time, stay safe and be prosperous, and we're out. Now let me figure out how to turn it off. How about that? Bye, y'all.
Good night.